My name is Leo Garcia. I'm 14 years old, and on the night of August 12th, on a concrete patio in Fresno, California, I died. I didn't see it coming. Nobody did. 1 second, the bass from the speakers was shaking the ground, and I was laughing at a joke my friend Tyler made. The next second, there was a popping sound. It sounded like firecrackers. Everyone thinks gunshots are loud like in the movies, but outside, they just sounded like distinct, sharp cracks. Then the screaming started. I felt something hit my chest. It felt like someone had swung a baseball bat as hard as they could and slammed it right into my ribs. The air left my lungs. I stumbled back. I tried to catch myself on the sliding glass door, but my hands were slippery. I fell. I hit the ground hard. The music was still playing, something with a heavy beat, but it sounded like it was underwater. I looked up at the night sky. The stars looked blurry. I tried to take a breath, but my chest wouldn't move. It was locked up. That's when the darkness came. It didn't come from the outside. It came from the edges of my own eyes, closing in like a shutter on a camera. Before that night, I was just a regular freshman. I wasn't popular, but I wasn't a loner either. I liked video games, mostly sandbox stuff where you can build your own worlds. I spent way too much time on my phone. My dad drives a delivery truck, and my mom works at a bank. They were always tired, but they always made sure me and my little sister, Mia, had dinner on the table. We fought sometimes, like normal families. I'd get mad when they took my phone away. I'd roll my eyes when they told me to go to church. I just wanted to fit in. I wanted new sneakers. I wanted the girl in my biology class to look at me. I was just a kid trying to figure out how to be a person. I never thought my life would end before I even learned how to drive. The silence was the first thing I noticed. The screaming stopped, the siren stopped, the music stopped. It wasn't just quiet, it was a heavy, thick silence. I stood up. At least, I thought I stood up. I felt light. I felt like I weighed nothing at all. I looked down at my hands. They looked normal, maybe a little brighter, like there was a light bulb under my skin. Then I looked down at the patio. I saw a boy lying there. He was wearing my blue hoodie. He was wearing my sneakers. There was blood on the front of the hoodie, spreading out fast, dark and shiny on the concrete. Tyler was kneeling over the boy, crying, shaking him. I thought, why is Tyler shaking me? I'm right here. I'm right here, I yelled. But no sound came out of my mouth. Or maybe it did, but the air here was different. It wouldn't carry the sound. I watched a paramedic run in. They cut my hoodie open. I saw the hole in my chest. It looked bad, really bad, but I didn't feel scared. That was the weirdest part. I should have been freaking out. I should have been terrified, but I felt calm. I felt like I was floating in a swimming pool, just drifting. The scene below me started to get smaller. The backyard, the ambulance lights flashing red and blue against the fence, the neighbors coming out on their porches, it all started to drift away. I turned around. I wasn't in California anymore. I was in a tunnel, but it wasn't like a subway tunnel. It was more like a tunnel made of clouds, or maybe fog. It was moving fast, rushing past me. The air felt electric. You know that feeling right before a thunderstorm hits, when the hair on your arm stands up? It felt like that, but 1,000 times stronger. I wasn't alone. I could feel things moving in the fog around me, shadows, shapes, but I was moving too fast to see them clearly. I was being pulled. It felt like gravity, but instead of pulling me down to the ground, it was pulling me forward. Then, the movement stopped. I was standing on something that felt like glass, but it was warm. It looked like the ocean when the sun hits it at sunset, gold and orange and shifting. And then I saw him. People always talk about a bright light, and yeah, he was bright, but that's not the main thing I remember. I remember the weight of him. Standing in front of him felt like standing next to a mountain. He was so real, so solid, that everything else, my life back home, the shooting, the hospital, felt like a dream. He was the only real thing in the universe. He didn't look like the pictures in my grandma's hallway. He didn't have a long white robe or a beard that looked perfectly combed. He looked like power. He was made of light, but the light had texture. It looked like woven gold. It looked like rushing water. His face was shining so bright I couldn't make out the sharp details, but I could feel his eyes. His eyes didn't just look at me, They touched me. It felt like a warm wave washing over my skin. Every bad thing I'd ever done, the lies I told my parents, the times I was mean to my sister, the bad thoughts I had, it all just fell off me. Like dirt washing off in the shower. He didn't say, "Hello, Leo." He spoke to my chest, not my ears. The voice sounded like the deep rumble of thunder, but it wasn't scary. It was safe. It was the safest sound I'd ever heard. He said, "You are home, Leo." I fell to my knees, not because I had to, but because my legs just gave out. The love coming off of him was too much. It was heavy. It was like a thick blanket on a cold night. I started crying. I cried for everything. I cried because I was happy. I cried because I was sorry. I cried because for the first time in 14 years, I didn't have to try to be cool. I didn't have to pretend. I was just Leo, and that was enough for him. He stepped closer to me. The ground beneath us rippled like water. He reached out a hand. His hand looked like it was made of starlight. He touched my shoulder, and suddenly, the scene changed. We weren't standing on the golden sea anymore. We were looking down. It looked like we were in space, looking down at Earth. But it wasn't the Earth you see on maps. It was covered in a gray fog. A sticky, dark web was wrapped around different parts of the world. "Look," he said. His voice was sad now, deep and sad. I zoomed in. My vision was perfect. I could see through roofs. I could see into houses. I saw rooms, thousands of them. In every room, there was a child. Some were my age, some were younger, like my sister Mia. They were all sitting alone. They were staring at screens, phones, tablets, computers. From the screens, I saw this gray smoke coming out. It wasn't real smoke, but spiritual smoke. It was crawling out of the glass and wrapping around their heads. It was covering their eyes. It was plugging their ears. I saw a boy, maybe 10 years old, watching a video. The video looked funny on the outside, but inside the spiritual world, I saw it was shooting little black arrows into his heart. Every time he laughed, an arrow stuck. I saw a girl taking pictures of herself. She looked sad. Beside her, in the invisible world, there was a tall, dark shadow whispering in her ear. I could hear the whisper. It said, "You're ugly. Nobody likes you. You should just give up." The girl nodded, like she agreed with the shadow. I looked at Jesus. "What is this?" I asked. "This is the war," he said. "The enemy has stopped fighting with swords. He is fighting with silence. He is fighting with distraction." He pointed to another house. I saw a family eating dinner, but the parents were on their phones. The kids were on their iPads. Nobody was talking. The gray web was thick over that table. The children are being stolen, Jesus told me, not from their houses, but from themselves. They are being taught that they are accidents. They are being taught that they have no purpose. Then the scene shifted again. I saw a different room, a small, messy bedroom. A kid was kneeling by his bed. He wasn't on a phone. He had his hands together. He was praying. "God help me at school tomorrow," the kid whispered. Bam! A beam of light shot up from that room. It cut right through the gray web. It tore the sticky darkness apart. It shot straight up into heaven. Jesus smiled, and when he smiled, the whole place got brighter. "Do you see?" he asked. "The enemy fears the children. He knows that if they wake up, if they realize who I am, they will be unstoppable. That is why he tries to blind them early." He looked at me, dead in the eyes. "Go back, Leo. Tell them, tell the parents, put down the screens and look at your children. Tell the children you are not alone and you are not an accident. You are warriors." I shook my head. "No," I said. I knew I shouldn't say no to God, but I was scared. "I can't go back," I told him. "I was shot. It hurt. It was cold. Down there, everything is confusing. People are mean. I have to worry about grades and money and fitting in. Here, there is just you." I grabbed his hand. It felt warm. "Please, let me stay. I don't want to fight the war. I'm just a kid." He didn't get mad. He didn't pull his hand away. He knelt down, so he was eye level with me. He put his hand on my chest, right where the bullet had hit me. "You are not just a kid," he said. "You are my son." He waved his hand, and I saw my mom. She was in the hospital waiting room. She was bent over in a plastic chair, her face in her hands. She was shaking. My dad was standing next to her, staring at the wall, looking like a ghost. Then I saw Mia, my little sister. She was sitting on her bed, hugging my pillow. She looked so small. "They need you," Jesus said softly. "Mia needs to know that death isn't the end. She needs to know I am real. If you stay, she might never know. If you go, you can show her the light." I looked at Mia. I felt my heart break for her. "Will you be with me?" I asked. "It's hard down there." Jesus stood up. He looked like a king again. "I am closer than the air in your lungs," he promised. "I will never leave you." He placed his hand over my eyes. "Breathe, Leo." Pain. That was the first thing. Fire in my chest. Then noise, a lot of noise, beeping machines, voices yelling. "We got a pulse. We got a rhythm." I gasped. It felt like sucking air through a straw. My eyes flew open. The lights were terrible. They were fluorescent white, buzzing and stinging my eyes. I was in a room full of people in scrubs. Someone was pushing on my chest. There were tubes everywhere. I tried to scream because of the pain, but I had a tube down my throat. I started to panic. I wanted the warm golden light back. I wanted the silence. A nurse saw me open my eyes. Her eyes went wide. She dropped the chart she was holding. "He's awake," she yelled. "He's awake." I tried to lift my hand to grab the tube, but they held me down. "It's okay, Leo. You're in the hospital," a doctor said. He looked sweaty and tired. "You're okay. Just breathe." I found out later I had been dead for almost 15 minutes. The bullet had missed my heart by a fraction of an inch, but the shock had stopped it. They had shocked me 4 times. They were about to call the time of death. My mom came in later. When she saw me looking at her, she collapsed. She just fell on the floor crying. My dad, who never cries, had tears running down his face. I couldn't talk because of the tube, but I squeezed my mom's hand. I wanted to tell her, "It's okay. I saw him. I saw the king." Recovering was hard. I had surgeries. I have a big scar on my chest now. I still get sore when it rains. But I'm not the same Leo who died on that patio. I don't care about fitting in anymore. I don't care about having the coolest sneakers. I look at my friends at school, staring at their phones, looking zombie-eyed, and I remember the gray web. I remember the arrows. So, here's the message Jesus told me to bring back to you. If you are a parent, fight for your kids. The battle isn't against people. It's against the darkness trying to steal their attention and their identity. Pray over them. Go into their rooms at night and pray while they sleep. It breaks the webs. I saw it happen. And if you are a kid or a teenager like me, I know it feels like you're alone. I know the internet makes you feel like you have to be perfect or that the world is hopeless, but that is a lie. There is a king who loves you. He isn't some dusty statue in a church. He is real power, he is real love, and he is fighting for you right now. My name is Leo Garcia. I died, and I came back to tell you one thing. Wake up, the light is real, and you are loved more than you can ever imagine.